What is going on YouTube? We're back again. And so today we're excited.
We're going to talk about key things when flipping a house for beginners. It's your first time, what to look for, and what to do.
So let us introduce ourselves. My name is Bo Levin. I'm a builder here in Amarillo / real estate developer is what we are moving our way into.
Yep, I'm Kendall Levin, and we own Feels Like Home Construction. Build here, multifamily, residential, all of it. So.
The whole 9 yards, and it's only getting bigger from here.
Yep.
But no, we're super excited. This is actually how we got started, was flipping houses. That's what kind of moved us into construction, to real estate, the whole 9 yards. And we're going to kind of walk you through some just main points of what to do when you're buying a flip house.
Yeah, things that we wish we would have known from the beginning, because that is how we got started, like Bo said, flipping houses. And these key things are the top ones that we pulled just to kind of give you tips and tricks of stuff wish we would have done.
Number one.
Okay, everything kind of depends on where you live, what your market is like. You know, we have crazy times right now, so you have to look at your market and what things are going for. But the number one thing is you make your money when you buy the house. So you never want to overpay for it. If you really want it, just don't overpay for it. Make sure you're buying it smart and thinking about how much cost is going to go into it and what you can resell it for.
Yeah, and then the biggest thing too is, like she's talking about, you just want to make sure that you're not putting emotion into it. And I know it's hard not to, especially our first flip. You're like, oh my gosh, I want this house. I'm going to make a lot of money on it. And you start getting all this emotion into it. Well, then you just do it where all these guys overpay all the time and they never make any money in the flipping market. And so that's what you don't want to do is, off of her number one point is don't put emotion into that deal, because that's going to kill you in the long run.
Yep. And I think that brings it into like point number two. Expect your worst case scenario, like as far as the money that you're going to put into it in the budget, because things can go wrong. So if you never overpay for the house and you're always buying it under value and buying it smart, then you have a little bit more room to work in there for, things that can go wrong in your budget, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is, when you go in there and buy the house, you don't know if your plumbing's jacked up, you don't know what's behind the wall, if your electrical's cut, and you got to go through there and rip off the whole wall. And all these people walk into that flip and they say, oh, I'm gonna buy this house, I'm gonna do the least amount of work that I can. Well, that never happens like that. You're always gonna have something go wrong, and there's $5K here and there's $2K here, and also by the end of it, you're $10,000 out, and you're like, wow, I did not account for that when I bought the property.
Yeah. Yeah, so your profit margins can sink within a matter of no time. So it really is, those are two very important ones to make your money when you buy the house, and then expect the worst case scenario. So always add in miscellaneous cost. Always think, okay, if I rip this wall out, something could be behind it that's wrong. Kind of go with it in that attitude of things.
And then now you just want to determine, if you know how to do the work yourselves, yes, that saves you a fortune not hiring a contractor. But if you don't, like we didn't on our first flip, we had no idea what we were doing. We just winged all of it. We had to bring some people back in to fix, our texture and things like that. Like a skilled trade like that, yes. It's better just to hire it out, because it's going to cost you more having to bring somebody else back in to fix it. But any little things like that, laying floor, easy stuff, go ahead and do that stuff yourself. I mean, that's what will save you the $5,000, $10,000 here and there, and that might save you whenever you have that major repair that comes along in that flip.
Yeah, and painting is the big one too. Like, we watched a lot of YouTube videos and learned how to paint, operate a sprayer. You can roll walls. I mean, that is the most simple thing that could save you 10 to 15 grand, depending on the size of the square footage of the house that you're doing. So, I mean, that's an easy one that you can learn pretty quick and do yourself.
Yeah, and we do a bunch of high-end remodels, and that's what we kind of started. And we also do like high-end projects. And so our painters were never really cheap, and we always make sure we hire the right one, because you get one in there and he's like tells you $1,000, and you're thinking you're gonna do this whole house for $1,000. Well, there's a reason why he's only charging what he's charging.
Yeah, it'll always come in somewhere. He'll be like, oh, I didn't account for this. So
yeah.
That's just another. Number 4 is to set a budget. So whenever you're walking into the house, just kind of calculate it all out, whether you're going to do it yourself or you're going to hire it out. Make sure you set a budget. So if you want to put $30,000 into the house, don't go over that budget with $40,000, because you'll lose that money somewhere. So that's very important to just make sure you stay within that budget.
Yeah, and every time we've done that too, because you think from the beginning, you're like, oh, I still have $29,000 left. Well, it comes into play. I'm telling you what, you'll hit that budget, and every time we've done it, we've gone over what, at least $5,000
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
So if you're, as long as you're cautious the whole time along there, and you're only over that $5,000, well, you accounted for that when you bought the property. You say, hey, if I need to buy this property for $150,000, well, I know I got to put $30,000 into it. Well, no, more likely you're going to put 40. Okay, when you have closing costs whenever you sell it, so you have to account for all those things from the beginning of this project, not just whenever you go to sell it.
Yep. Yeah. So those are good things to account for when you're buying it. And then number 5, if you're just starting out, for beginners, just keep it simple. We used to watch all these TV shows, HGTV, all this stuff where people would go in and they just got the whole thing. They'd move bathrooms, they'd change the floor plan, and what worked best for us, because we tried to do that one time, was just keeping it simple, like flooring, painting,
cosmetic.
Yes, you can do some new showers, backsplash, just anything to give it a facelift. If you're just starting out, don't walk into a house that's completely wrecked and say, I think I can do this. It's better just to find something within your price range and your budget and say, hey, this is pretty cosmetic, I can do it in a month or 2 and then I can make a profit like that.
Yeah, and you might be asking, well, what experience do y'all have? Well, first off, we bought a house for $5,000 and it was 1,500 square feet, $5,000, and it was a dump. It was a burn house. So we had to go through there and redo the whole thing. Well, there's 6 months already gone out the window whenever you could already done a cosmetic flip like we did before. And we paid, I think it was $150,000 or $160,000. And it took us 4 weeks to do it. We already had it back on the market and already sold. We made $30K in a 60-day period versus the 6 month that we made the $35K. So I mean, just like Kendall has a perfect point of go out and do it simple. You don't want the nastiest, ugliest, dirtiest trash hole on the street. You want to get one that's just decent, that you can go in there and give it that whole facelift that people are looking for, and to make it their dream home and not gut the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that's something that to work for too. Start it simple, beginners, just keep it facelift, and then it's fun to work up to do those kinds of projects because it is cool to look back and see the before and afters of something that was pretty bad, like that burn house we did. And then we did another one that was, we did them all in all different price ranges, so it just works out if you're doing that starting out.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then to kind of the finale point of how to, whenever you are buying it, just for example, say if you're going to buy a $100,000 house, we'll say that the comps, which is the comparable market analysis in the neighborhood, are going, say that house will go for 180 whenever it's done. So you say you want to put the 30 into it, and that leaves you with that $50,000 left. Well, if you think about it, whenever you buy that, you're going to have your closing costs when you go to sell it. So you're going to have, if you have to list it with an agent, you're talking about 6%. So there's $6,000. So now you just paid $106 for the house. Well, then you have the $30,000. Remember your budget. So you're at $136 for the house now. Well, then you have your closing costs from the title companies. And you're at another 3%, 3 to 4% of the $100,000. So now you're already up to $150. So really, you obviously thought you were going to make $50,000. No, you forgot about all the extra things where it goes to sell, that you're going to make about $30K on the whole deal. So you just got to account for all those things from the beginning, because then that's what will save you. And that's how every flip that we did, we walked away with over $30,000. We said, no matter what we're going to do in this thing, we're not buying it unless we're going to make over $30K every single flip. And that's what we've done every single time. So this advice has worked for us. So hopefully it'll work for you guys out there.
True. And then one last thing, to go back to the expecting the worst case scenario, like Bo was saying, you never know. You have to account for all those prices coming in at the end that hit you. I would do like a miscellaneous too. Say you list everything out that you want to do to the house, paint, floor, cabinets, prices of what it's going to cost, and then at the bottom, do like a 5 to 10% miscellaneous, because you will have extra things that come in there that you forgot about while you were going through your list.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
And most importantly, if you want us to keep doing these videos, we got to have your love and support out there. So if you would please like the video and subscribe to our channel. You can also hit us up on Instagram at BoLeavin, at Kendall, and we'd love to help you out and guide you in any direction that we could. We love mentoring, so if there's anything that we could do for you, make sure to subscribe to our channel and we'll go from there.
Yep, just have fun with it.